Yeah, very good morning to all of you. So if I am audible, please give me a response so that we can start our today's session. Very good morning to all of you. Fine, so we have already exams as well. So, but this is the third session in which we are going to revise your GS through your MCQs. I hope you people are doing good. If you have any doubt, then also you can let me know. If in previous classes you have faced any issues related to any questions, then you can also let me know. So, let's begin our class. So, let's begin our today's class. So, the first question is in your screen. Which two states are involved in the interstate water dispute over the Banakacherla reservoir project? So, please try to answer. Yeah, very good morning. Please try to answer. What will be your answer? Fine. So, recently a interstate river water dispute, right? So, recently an interstate river water dispute is in news. So, recently this is an interstate river water dispute project, that's your Banakacherla reservoir project, which is a major irrigation project of your Andhra Pradesh. So, basically in this project the Godavari river water needs to be supplied to the drought prone areas. So, that is the Rayalaseema. So, Rayalaseema is basically a drought prone region. So, that is why the surplus water must be diverted to this Rayalaseema region, so that the water issues can be tackled out and the irrigation project can be carried out smoothly. So, that is why this is a long tussle that is going on between the Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So, Banakacherla reservoir project is a tussle or is a conflict between the Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, that you need to remember. Clear? Fine. So, please note some points also. If you need it, then you can mention some points in your notes. So, basically this is a irrigation project in which the surplus water of Godavari needs to diverted diverted to the Rayalaseema region, which is basically, so the drought prone regions of Rayalaseema needs surplus water of your Godavari. So, this was the provisions as per the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act, which is getting violated as it is claimed by the Telangana. Let us go to next question. Hello, is this fine right now? Good morning. Okay, fine, good. अब buffering होनी तो no buffering, right? Fine. So, see, Curie temperature is mostly closely associated with which of the following properties? So, basically this is a temperature that you will see in your magnetic materials. So, basically the temperature, Curie temperature is a temperature that you can say where where the temperature above which a ferromagnetic substance basically loses its magnetic property and it becomes paramagnetic. Clear? So basically Curie temperature is a temperature above which so the magnets loses its property. So that means a ferromagnetic substance will become paramagnetic. Clear? And you know, in paramagnetic, so the magnetic tendency, simple as it is. Curie temperature is the temperature above which a ferromagnetic substance loses its magnetic properties and it becomes paramagnetic material. That's the definition of Curie temperature. So here D will be the correct answer. Let's check your next question. Yeah, very good morning. Say these are the three solid waste management methods, okay, and these are the processes that has been mentioned. So how many of the pairs given above are correctly matched? It is asking. So it is asking how many of the pairs are correctly matched. So let's see first one, incineration. Incineration is controlled complete combustion in the absence of oxygen. Is this statement true or false? Is the statement true or false? So this statement is absolutely false because this is a controlled complete combustion or it's a burning method. That's correct, but it is done in the presence of oxygen. It is done in the presence of oxygen, not in the absence of oxygen, because it's a completely oxidation process. It's a burning process basically. So in burning, you know, oxygen is the primary supply. So it is the most common method that you can say, which is generally adopted. It is the most common method. So that is generally adopted for your solid waste management method. That's the incineration. Incineration is simple burning. It's a controlled burning that you can say. It's a controlled oxidation process in which the materials are usually burnt out in the presence of oxygen. So it's basically a thermal burning process. It is the heating of organic material in the presence of oxygen. Is this statement true or false? So you people are well aware about the pyro. So the word pyro means that is your heating at your higher temperature, right? So when heating of organic material is done, generally pyrolysis is done for your plastic materials, okay? If it is plastic materials, then we used to burn it at a very high temperature. So in pyrolysis, so the solid particles gets converted to a liquid, and again in your higher temperature liquid is converted to your gases. All clear? So pyrolysis means heating at a very extreme temperature, more than your 1000 degrees Celsius. That's the method of your pyrolysis. And usually you remember, so this is done in the absence of oxygen. That is the common difference between incineration and pyrolysis. So incineration is a common burning practice that is used to do, so that is done in the presence of oxygen, whereas pyrolysis is carried out, it is also a burning process. So that is it is burnt at a very higher temperature. So generally the solid is getting converted to your gases, okay? So it is the heating of organic material in the absence of oxygen. Usually it is done for the plastic material, that you need to remember. All clear? All clear? Fine. So that means the statement 2 is also false. Let's check your next one, gasification, conversion of waste directly into your syngas. So basically syngas consists of, can anyone say? So syngas consists of your carbon monoxide and hydrogen, right? So hydrogen and your carbon monoxide, that is called as a syngas. So this is the correct one. Gasification means conversion of the waste, solid waste managed. So this is a conversion of solid waste particles directly into your syngas, that is your hydrogen and carbon monoxide. So usually this is most common methods as well. So it is a directly when the material is directly converted to syngas, which primarily consists of hydrogen and carbon dioxide. So this method is known as your gasification. So this statement is correct. It was asked how many of the pairs given above are correctly matched. The answer will be your only one pair. So here A will be a correct answer. If you have any doubt, then kindly let me know, else we will go to next question. If you have any doubt, all clear? Yeah, very good morning. Clear? Let's go to next question. Recently, Amrit Gyankos and faculty development portals were launched under which mission? Amrit Gyankos and faculty development portals were launched under which scheme? Fine. So Amrit Gyankos and faculty development portals was launched under your mission Karmayogi. So A is your correct answer. You people are well aware about your mission Karmayogi. So it is a flagship scheme of our government of India to train civil servants, right? So basically to train civil servants, so the faculties are getting equipped with Indian centric case studies. So it is a knowledge bank basically where Indian centric case studies are getting integrated, are getting integrated in this Amrit Gyankos and faculty development, so that their skills can be empowered, can be developed, so it will ensure ease, and it will facilitate the trainers to train the civil servants in a very holistic manner, so that the training will be much more efficient and it will be productive. So that's why it's an initiative of your mission Karmayogi. So A is your correct answer. So this is a question of your current affairs. Let's go to next question. With reference to the ecosystem productivity, consider the following statements. So this is a question that I have discussed yesterday. Please try to answer. See, gross primary productivity is the available biomass for the consumption of your heterotrophs. Is this statement correct? I have discussed in detail. So basically, what is the primary productivity? Primary productivity is the productivity that is being provided by the autotrophs for the consumption of your heterotrophs, right? So basically, primary productivity is the amount of organic matter that is getting produced during the process of photosynthesis. So the total amount of, if you will calculate the total amount of organic matter produced by the plants during the process of photosynthesis, that is called as your gross primary productivity. Is this thing clear? So the amount of organic matter produced by the plant, that is called as your primary productivity, or the amount of organic matter so produced by the autotrophs, so that is called as your primary productivity. But when the total amount is calculated, that is called as your gross primary productivity. So from this, so plant itself consumes some amount of energy, so which is called as your respiratory loss. Clear? So during the process of respiration, plant needs some kind of your some portion of your energy from this gross primary productivity. Clear? So this is the total amount of organic matter, so from which we have to deduct respiratory loss, and we will get net primary productivity, so which is known as your NPP. Clear? So gross primary productivity minus respiration loss is equal to net primary productivity. So this is the amount of organic matter that is available for the next level of your tropic level. So that means this much amount of energy can be transferred to the heterotrophs. All clear? Are you guys getting? So this is the amount of energy that is produced by the autotrophs, and this is the loss. After deducting this loss from the total amount of organic matter, we will get net primary productivity. So here it's not your gross primary productivity, it's the net primary productivity, that is the available biomass for the consumption of heterotrophs. Heterotrophs will consume on autotrophs, and this is the net primary productivity. So that is the total amount of organic matter that is produced by the plants during the process of photosynthesis, which is available to the heterotrophs for the consumption of heterotrophs. So it's not gross primary productivity, it's the net primary productivity that is available. So statement 1 is false. Clear? Annual net primary productivity of the ocean is higher than that of the land. I have given the complete statement and I have tried to express. So we have discussed that our lands produced 170 billion tons of primary productivity, whereas our water, it produces 55 billion tons of primary productivity. So water consists of your 70% of land, 70% of portion of earth consists of water, and 30% approximately is your land. So that means, so 30% of lands produces 170 billion tons, whereas 70% of water produces only 55 billion tons. So you see the statement, annual net primary productivity of the ocean is higher than that of the land. Is this statement true? Annual net primary productivity of the ocean is higher than that of the land. No, right? Annual net primary productivity of the ocean is much lower than that of the land, right? It's the annual net primary productivity of the land is much higher than that of the ocean. So this statement is also false. All clear? So that means both those statements are false, hence answer will be neither one, neither two. So neither one nor two. So D will be your correct answer. Is this thing clear? Or if you have any doubt, then please let me know. I have already discussed in details. So yesterday I have already discussed in detail. If you have any doubt, then please let me know. Fine, let's go to next question. Which two states recently announced the development of religious circuit as the Krishna Gaman path? So this is a question from your current affairs. Okay. So this is a question from current affairs. Please try to answer. Which two states recently announced the development of religious circuit, that's the Krishna Gaman path? Fine. So what will be a correct answer? So basically this is a religious circuit which was in use, that's the Krishna Gaman path, to connect Krishna's sacred places, like it is going to connect your Mathura, Ozone, okay. So it is going to connect all these important sacred places of your Lord Krishna to preserve, to boost off religious tourism and to preserve cultural identity. Fine. So the correct answer will be your D, that's the Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. All clear? So here D will be your correct answer. Fine. Fine. So correct answer will be your Montreal Protocol, right? Montreal is a place in your Canada. Montreal is a place in your Canada. So where this protocol was signed. So basically it was signed in the Montreal, that's in your Canada, in your 1987, right? Which came into effect in your 1989. So Montreal, you have to remember that's the move, right? So Montreal and your Vienna, that is associated with your emission of your ozone depleting substances. So here C will be your correct answer. Is this thing clear? So to deplete ozone depleting substances, so this Montreal Protocol was signed in your 1987. So that you should remember. All clear? Is this thing clear? Fine. Next is your Kyoto Protocol. What is Kyoto Protocol? Can anyone say? So basically Kyoto Protocol, again it's an international treaty, so that commits to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, right? So to reduce greenhouse gas emission, so this Kyoto Protocol was signed. Again, what's your Paris Agreement? The primary objective of the Paris Agreement is, so the Paris Agreement, again, it's primarily focuses on climate change mitigation and adoption, and the primary aim, if you will see, to control the global warming below 2 degrees Celsius, right? So that's the primary objective of the Paris Agreement, that you need to remember. So to mitigate the climate change, this Paris Agreement was signed, and the primary aim is to control global warming below 2 degrees Celsius. Then the third one is your Basel Convention. So it is associated with, so it restricts the transboundary movement of your hazardous substances. Am I right? Transboundary movement of your hazardous substances. So that's why this Basel Convention was signed. All clear? So this Montreal, after this Montreal Protocol, again we have, might have be aware about this Kigali Amendment. It is an amendment to this Montreal Protocol which aims to phase out hydrofluorocarbons that primarily causes your ozone depletion. All clear? So these are some of the conventions, protocols, agreement that we need to remember for your exam perspective. It's very, very important one. So please remember the primary objectives of these protocols or amendments. Clear? Let's go to next question. Which state has launched the country's first yoga policy on International Yoga Day? Which state has launched the country's first yoga policy? Which state is the first one to launch first yoga policy? Please try to answer. Fine. So when International Yoga Day is observed, that may be a question that will be asked in your exam. When International Yoga Day is observed, the correct answer will be your 21st of June, right? So it is decided to observe 21st of June as your International Yoga Day. All clear? So this year in your 2025, what was the theme of your International Yoga Day? Again, this may be a question that may be asked in your exam. So what is the theme? The correct answer will be your, anyone? That's the Yoga for One Earth. Yoga for One Earth, One Health. Yoga for One Earth, One Health. So that's the theme. Again, so which state is the first one to launch your yoga policy? So correct answer will be your Uttarakhand. So here A will be a correct answer. So Uttarakhand is the first state to launch yoga policy. Okay, so where the state will be providing financial assistance, it will providing granting aid to promote yoga, so that's primarily 10 lakh rupees has been sanctioned, so to promote research in yoga, meditation and naturopathy. So the state has its own plan, so it is going to create new yoga hubs in their state, so that yoga can be promoted and well-being can be ensured. So that's the primary objective of this. Fine. You see, what is ozone depleting substances? So the substances that causes or that leads to deplete in the ozone. Ozone ray, so जो hole अपंगर हुए, so the primary substances which is responsible for causing depletion in ozone layer, so that is called as your ozone depleting substance. Is this clear? Fine. So what are the common ozone depleting substances? Can anyone say? So that is your chlorofluorocarbons, right? CFCs. You people are well aware about this chlorofluorocarbons, which is primarily responsible for your chlorofluorocarbons, which is primarily responsible for depleting ozone layer. Is this clear? Apart from it, we have halogens. We have your halogens, carbon tetrachloride. So basically this is the chlorine which is primarily responsible for causing depletion in the ozone substances, for the depletion in the ozone layer. All clear? Apart from it, methyl chloroform. So you remember, these are the primary agents which are the ozone depleting substances, or which causes harmful to the ozone. It leads to the depletion in the ozone. All clear? So among these chlorofluorocarbons, so the most common is your R12, which is a refrigerating agent that people are well aware about it. So this is your R12 is basically your difluoromethane, right? R12. It is a colorless gas which is usually solid, and it is usually sold in the name of Freon 12. Okay, fine. F12. So that's the Freon 12. R12 is commonly it's sold under the brand name of your Freon. So here B will be your correct answer, because this is a primary chlorofluorocarbon which is responsible for the depletion of your ozone. All clear? Is this thing clear? So carbon dioxide, methane, these are the greenhouse gases. These are not your ozone depleting substances. So chlorofluorocarbons, halon, carbon tetrachloride, so methyl chloroform, all these are the primary ozone depleting substances which causes harmful for the ozone, right? Ozone acts as a protective layer because it prevents the direct UV rays from the sun, right? So that's why ozone is very, very essential. So ozone acts as a blanket. So ozone is located in stratosphere, right? So when the ozone comes to the troposphere, then it becomes as pollutant. Okay, so let's go to next question. In the context of biodiversity, the evil quartet, very, very important question. The evil quartet comprises which of the following sets of 4 components? Please try to answer. Very, very important question. So basically, evil quartet means there are 4 regions that are being specified. Okay, so there are 4 components which has been specified, which is considered as an evil for the loss of biodiversity. So due to the rapid expansion, of urbanizations, okay, due to the rapid increase in population, so we are day by day we are losing our biodiversity, okay, or it is considering as an evil aspect that we can say. The primary four components which is primarily responsible for the loss of biodiversity are, first of all, is habitat destructions. We are running up with your more and more industries, we are running up with your urbanizations, we are running up with your industrializations. So that's why we have to destruct habitat. What is habitat? Habitat is basically the address of the species. So basically this is the house of the species that we can say. We are gradually losing the shelters of plants and animals. So that's why habitat destruction is the primary reason. Over exploitation, you know, so due to the humans greed and humans want and desires, we are over exploiting the natural resources. That's the primary cause. Then it leads to your co-extinction. Co-extinction means, so generally in the concept of a mutualism, where both species exist together or one is dependent on another. So during this stage, if one species is extincted, then other also automatically gets extincted. So that's why it is called as co-extinctions. All clear? So if a species is dependent on another species, and if a species 1 is dependent on another species, if species 2 is getting extincted, okay, then species 1 will also getting extincted. Fine. So because they are directly related, so this is called as a co-extinction. I hope you are getting. Alien invasive species, if in their ecosystem some another foreigner or foreign species or an invasive species is coming or entering into their zone, then other species will be in threat. All clear? So for that reasons, we have various species, we have n number of species which are getting threatened, which are getting endangered, right? So for that reasons, we have to take care of our biodiversity. All clear? So almost we have 1500 endangered species, so which needs to be taken care of. Anyways, so here A will be correct answer. Habitat destruction, over exploitation, co-extinction and alien invasive species. These are the primary reasons for which biodiversity loss is getting popular. So for which biodiversity is getting loss of biodiversity occurs, that you can say. All clear? Evil quartet. These are the 4 evil reasons. Fine. So basically the Chinar Corps, okay, so this Chinar Corps, that's the Indian Army conducted a infiltration operation, so which is known as your Operation Tika, to recover the arms, right, from these Baramulla districts. After this, so you know, so the most famous, right, so the barbaric attack that you can say, so that's the recently, that's the Pahalgam terror attack, you people know. So after this Pahalgam terror attack, this Operation Tika was launched by Indian Army in Baramulla district, that's in your Jammu and Kashmir, to recover the arms, okay, so to recover the arms from this Baramulla district. So basically this operation was led by Chinar Corps, and it seizes AK series rifles, magazines, pistols and the explosive devices as well. So after this Pahalgam terror, to answer what is species richness, I will give a brief about this species richness again. Species richness is the count of unique species. It is the count of unique species, okay. Species evenness indicates the rarity of a species. So what will be correct answer? Statement 1 is 1 only, 2 only, C is your 1 and 2, D is your none. Please try to answer. What is species richness? So I have discussed yesterday, in species composition we have to understand species richness and species evenness. So what is species richness? So let's consider an ecosystem, okay, where tiger is your 100, lion is your 30, okay, elephant is your 10, so a horse is your 5. Like this we have an ecosystem. So what is the species richness? So basically we can say this is an ecosystem where tiger species is rich because tiger is dominant over all other populations. So here tiger is your 100, lion is your 30, elephant is your 10, horses are your 5. So species richness means what we will say 130, 140, 145. 145 is your species richness. So 145 species exist in this ecosystem, among which tiger is rich among all others. All clear? So tiger is rich in this ecosystem, that we can say, but we have species richness count is your 145. So species richness is the count of unique species or not. So this statement is true or not? This statement is true because this is the count or the total number of unique species. So that's why A is your correct answer. Clear? Species evenness indicates the rarity of the species. So what is species evenness? So if we have another ecosystem where approximately we have same number of populations, let's say tiger is your 100, elephant is your 105, lion is your 96, horses are your 94. So if you will see, approximately we have your 100 number of species which are evenly distributed. Am I right? So what exactly indicates species evenness? Now whether all the populations have similar number of species or not, right? Similar number of populations or not. Basically this is a community because there are different type of organisms, they exist together, but we can say species evenness, it indicates that the number of species are same or not. So if you will see, averagely it will come to your 100 if we will talk about this tiger, elephant, lion and horses. But another aspects, if you will see, this is the ecosystem 1, let's say we have an ecosystem 2 which indicates tiger is your 100, elephant, lion is your 30, horses is your 5. Okay, so your elephant is your 2. So you see, this is not a species evenness, but it indicates that this is not a species even ecosystem, but it indicates that this tiger population is dominating over others, and it also indicates that elephant population is rare. Am I right or not? So it indicates that species evenness is not achieved, and tiger is dominant in this ecosystem and elephant is rare in this ecosystem. So species evenness indicates the rarity of this species. This statement is also correct because we are getting an indicator which species is rare in that ecosystem. All clear? So here both the statements are true, so that's why C will be your correct answer. If you are getting me, then please let me know, or if you have any doubts, then also you please let me know. I will try to clarify it out. All clear? Species richness, species evenness. Is this thing clear? Done? All clear? So let's go to the next question. The repeated reflection of sound in a hall causing the persistence of sound is known as? Okay, fine. So you see, when sound is produced in a large space, basically a hall or an auditorium, okay, so the sound is usually reflected back from the ceiling, from the walls, or from larger substances. So the sounds are getting reflected back. So basically it is the combination of original sound and the reflected sound which persisted for a longer period of time, and this concept is known as a reverberation. So repeated reflection of sound in a hall that causes the persistence of sound, that means there will be no sound but still you can hear it, okay, So it's different from your echo. Echo is different, reverberation is different. There is slight difference. Echo primarily occurs. Echo is basically the original sounds gets repeated, okay, again and again, and it will cause after a delay, okay, after 0.1 second you will hear your echo. But reverberation is the repeated reflection of sound in a hall, so which primarily causes the persistence of the sound, and you can hear it for a longer period of time. Usually it occurs in a larger space, okay. So answer C will be your correct answer. It was an important question, so it's from your science and technology. This question was asked in your SSC CGL. Let's go to next question. So this question is from your current affairs. Again, it's a question from your defense. So what is the name of the operation conducted by Indian Army in Jammu Kashmir on May 13, 2025 to neutralize terrorists of Lashkar-e-Taiba? Again, after your Pahalgam terror attack, so this is also an operation that was carried out. It's also exam from your, it's also important from your exam point of view. So after this Pahalgam terror attack, our Indian Army conducted a operation to attack based on a intelligence report, okay. So they conducted a infiltration attack or an operation, so at the village level. Fine. You see, so Department of Archaeology has recently conducted a antiquity survey where they are visiting door to door and they are trying to discover the antiquities that is remaining in their house. So the primary aim is to collect antiquities and to preserve and to conserve it, okay. So that's why it's an initiative of a Department of Archaeology. So we have an adopt a monument scheme which is getting funded by the CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility Fund, is utilized in this adopt a monument scheme. So for that reason, Karnataka government has taken an initiative. So the Department of Archaeology has taken an initiative to conduct house to house survey, okay. So antiquity survey at the village level they are conducting. So Karnataka is the correct answer. All clear? Karnataka is the first in India to complete a detailed antiquity survey at the village level. So they have conducted around recently they have conducted 119 talukas, okay. So 119 talukas in which they are trying to discover the antiquities or the monuments that is being stored in house to house level or in a door to door survey, okay. They are conducting door to door survey to find out the antiquities. Let's go to next question. Dhubri Phulbari Brahmaputra bridge connects which two Indian states? Dhubri Phulbari. Fine. So basically Dhubri Phulbari bring Constitution and Republic Day. So this is an innovative scheme launched by Department of Justice, that's the Ministry of Law and Justice, right? So the primary aim of this Hamara Samvidhan, Hamara Swabhiman is to ensure justice. So the justice that is enshrined, so that the justice that is mentioned in the preamble. And in preamble we have three types of justice, that's the social, economical and political justice, right? Social, economical and political justice. So this is an initiative of DISA scheme. So B will be your correct answer. So DISA stands for designing innovative solutions for holistic access, okay. So to ensure justice, that's the designing farmers. So precision planting has developed so this Panorama field data app where they can it provides the farmers with a platform to analyze agronomic data and visualize maps for better decision making. So A will be a correct answer. Fine. So it is going to assist farmers, or farmers is going to take the benefit of this Panorama field data, where they can monitor, they can have a real time monitoring on their field, they can get agronomic information, they can get the maps, input summaries. Okay, so through their smartphones or through their computers, through their tablets, they will get real time data and information. So here A will be a correct answer. Let's go to next question. The term Shor's algorithm, recently in news, it is related to which among the following? What is Shor's algorithm? So here you need to remember the name of this mathematician, that's the Peter Shor. As we don't have time, so you please remember. So this is the Peter Shor, who is a mathematician. He has developed a technique. Okay, so he has developed a technique, or he has developed a method that we can say, so which is mostly used efficiently factorize large composite numbers. So basically it is used in your cryptography, in quantum computing, that you can say. So here correct answer will be, so basically this is a technique to solve your complex calculations, or complex analytical calculations can be solved by this Shor's algorithm. Peter Shor is basically a mathematician, okay, who has developed methods to solve complex algorithms. So that's why this technique is being used in your quantum technology. It is being used as your quantum algorithm. So here D will be correct answer. All clear? Fine. So these are the 20 questions that we have tried to discuss. So let me revise within your 2 minutes. So we have discussed your Biodiversity river water dispute between Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Okay, so that we have already discussed. So D is your correct answer. Second, Curie temperature. Curie temperature is basically a temperature above which ferromagnetic substances loses its characteristics and it becomes your paramagnetic. So the magnetic property discussed. Amrit Gyankos. Okay. Again repeat. Fine. So we discussed Amrit Gyankos, that's the faculty development portals which was launched by Mission Karmayogi. Okay, Mission Karmayogi, so that Indian centric case studies can be provided which will ease and facilitate trainers to train civil servants. So it's an important mission, that's your, so it's an important programs which has launched by Mission Karmayogi. Under your Mission Karmayogi, so this scheme has been launched. Then we discussed about gross primary productivity, net primary productivity, and secondary productivity as well. So the productivity that is available, at heterotrophs level, that is called as your secondary productivity. Fine. So the primary productivity is, we have discussed, that is available for within your autotrophs. Okay, so the total amount of organic matter produced by the plant during the process of photosynthesis is known as the gross primary productivity after deducting respiratory loss, because plants use a certain amount of energy, okay, from this gross primary productivity during its process of photosynthesis, okay, which as a respiration loss. So after deducting respiratory loss, we will get net primary productivity. So this is the total amount of organic matter that is available for the next level, okay, in your next level, in the trophical level. So net primary productivity is the available biomass for the of water is much more lower than that of the land. Hence second statement is incorrect. Which two states recently announced the development of religious circuit Krishna Gaman path? So we have discussed this and religious circuit path which has been announced by Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan government. It will connect the important sacred places of Lord Krishna. So Mathura and Ozone is going to be connected. Then we discussed about the international treaties which is primarily responsible for the control of ozone depleting substances. So answer will be a Montreal Protocol. So again an amendment, Kigali amendment was made to reduce, to eliminate, to phase out your hydrofluorocarbons which primarily causes your greenhouse gas emissions, right? So Montreal Protocol was signed. So Vienna Protocol was signed to eliminate or to emit, to control the emissions of ozone depleting substances, that you can remember. Fine. So Kyoto Protocol is primarily deals with to reduce greenhouse gas emission. Paris Agreement was primarily signed to mitigate the climate changes that was going on, and its primary aim is to control global warming below 2 degrees Celsius. Basel Conventions reduce the transboundary movement of hazardous substances. Then we discussed about the country's first yoga policy that has been launched by Uttarakhand. We discussed International Yoga Day is observed on 21 June and the theme was for this 2025 was Yoga for One Earth, One Health. Then we discussed about what is the prominent ozone depleting substances. You know, ozone depleting substances are chlorofluorocarbons, halogens, carbon tetrachloride, methyl chloroform. All these are your common primary ozone depleting substances. Out of this, R12 is primary common, which is used as a refrigerating agent among this from these chlorofluorocarbons. So this R12 is being sold under the brand name of this freon. So B will be your correct answer. Next, evil quartet. Basically, there are 4 reasons that has been specified for the loss of biodiversity. So these 4 components are habitat destructions, overexploitations, co-extinctions, and alien invasive species. So A is your correct answer. So recent counter infiltrations operation conducted by Indian Army in Barmula district was Operation Tikka. Okay, so which was conducted by China, so Chinnar Corps. Okay, so after this Pahalgam terror attack, so this Operation Tikka was carried out. Okay, that you need to arms. Okay, so to recover arms, this exercise was being conducted by Indian Army. Then species richness. Species richness is the total count. Okay, so the total count of unique species is species richness, combination of original as well as your reflectory sounds. So this is known as a reverberation. Similarly, the operation that is conducted by Indian Army in Jammu Kashmir on May 13 after the Pahalgam terror attack, so to neutralize terrorists of Lashkar-e-Taiba, that's the Operation Killer. As per the intelligence report, so Lashkar-e-Taiba was taking shelter in the Sopian district, so that's why Indian Army conducted this exercise to neutralize the terrorists of Lashkar-e-Taiba. Which state has become the first in India to complete detailed antiquity survey? So answer will be Karnataka. So recently Karnataka has conducted a door-to-door survey in villages, so to recover antiquities, okay, from your local level. So under the Department of Archaeology has conducted this survey. So we have a adopt a monument schemes which is funded by CSR. So Corporate Social Responsibility Fund is there, so which is assisting to preserve and to conserve antiquities or the monuments. So that's why Karnataka is the first one. Dhubri Fulbari Brahmaputra bridge, it connects your Dhubri is from your Assam and Brahmaputra is your Meghalaya. So B will be your correct answer. Similarly, Hamara Samvidhan, Hamara Swabhiman campaign, it was organized under your DISA scheme. Okay, so designing innovative solutions for holistic access to justice. So here justice is primarily ensured. So through this Hamara Samvidhan, Hamara Swabhiman campaign. Okay, so B will be your correct answer. Then Panorama field data is basically an app which is developed by Precision Planning. It provides farmers a platform to analyze agronomic data and visualize maps for better decision making. So A is your correct answer. Shor's algorithm, recently it was in news. It is basically a method which is being used in your quantum technology or